there's no doubt that you and I know that currently in the country, Nigeria is experiencing a surge in criminality and, of course, in crime rates in the country. And it's a sad one to know that the government of the day at the federal level, in the states level, the 36 states of the country, and of course, the more than 500, more than 700 local governments in the country, are really trying to do their best. But it seems that their best is not enough. Now, in the center of all this are the youths. And we're going to be taking the next couple of minutes, to talk to the youth, to talk to ourselves. I mean, I'm part of it now, to talk to ourselves, to see how we can stop and how we can actually move this country forward. Now, when we talk about crime surge, criminality in the country, we're talking about kidnapping. And of course, you and I know, you understand when we say kidnapping, abductions for ransom, often targeting wealthy individuals or their families. Then there's a common one that you and I grew to meet, armed robbery. It's just armed attack on individuals or businesses or financial institutions. Then the issue of terrorism also came on board, which seems to be one of the most recent of it all now. And that has to do with attacks by groups like Boko Haram, primarily in the northeast, and that has spread into other parts of the country. Then the property crime, that's burglary crime, breaking into homes or businesses to steal valuables. Then the one that is so prevalent now is the confidence trick. That's the word for it. But we bring it down to Yahoo, whereby a lot of youths believe, a lot of youths are alleged to be part of this. And this has to do with scam and fraudulent activities, including online scams. Then the one chance syndrome is also a kind of a criminality that we need to talk about in our country. The one chance syndrome, robbers pretending to be commercial bus or taxi operators and robbing passengers. Now, this is very prevalent too in parts of the country. And recent survey shows that most states in the south in Nigeria, that's where you actually find the one chance syndrome. In Edo State, in Benin City, and of course in Lagos, there's some states in the west, you find the one chance as a form of criminality in these places. All right, so the root cause is not far-fetched. We know unemployment, that's what people say, and somehow lack of education is also part of it. All right, so to look at all this this morning, we're so privileged to have the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, comrade, what I have to say comrade now, Moses Agwenede is right here with us this morning. Moses Agwenede, nice to have you on the program.
Thank you very much, brother.
You dress like a comrade. So. All right, so just like what we're trying to look at, criminality in the country and all that. Now, we saw a video recently whereby you were with the Edo State governor, promising him, with a full force that, look, this whole issue of crime in the state, most especially as it relates to courtesan, that you are going to help the governor, to make sure that you put a standstill to that. Now, that's one side. But let's look at it now. What is your general impression about criminality in the country?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Evans. Criminality in the country is on the high side. We are going to be stated earlier, and it's our collective responsibility to work hand in hand with the government and also security agencies to see what we can do to reduce it to barest minimum. You spoke about me being with the governor recently. On the 5th of May this month, we called for a high-profile stakeholders meeting between youth and students leaders, both present and past leaders of the youth and student community, came together to discuss on the way forward. The high rise of cultism, drug abuse, and criminality generally in Edo State in particular. And we came up with ideas. We had a communique, a position paper where we suggest to government, over time, you tend to see leaders, youth and student groups leading advocacy, rallies, and saying show courtesan, show criminality, and no to vices. But we said, no, we are doing something different now, not just leading a rally, not just going on the walk. We have to bring up solutions as young people to suggest to government for implementation, and we hope that when that is done, criminality, cultism, the general social vices will be reduced to barest minimum.
When you talk about bring out solutions now, what exactly do you mean?
Well, we provide solutions, like I said, position paper, where we can give ideas to government for implementation.
Okay. Now, before this time, we understand that the National Youth Council is not just new. It's been there for quite some time. Now, this is probably not the first time that suggestions have been made to governments of the day to wrestle criminality, in our state, in the society and all that. So what are you doing differently this time?
Well, like I said, we had a stakeholders meeting where ideas was, converted into a position paper to provide solutions to government, ideas on how to curb kidnapping and cultism and drug abuse.
Okay. All right. So let's stretch it further now. Like, we're trying to look at that the major remote cause of criminality in the society is poverty, unemployment, and illiteracy. That has to do with, not going to school and all that. But we have seen recently that the issue of the confidence scam, the confidence theft we talked about a while ago, the Yao Yao syndrome, a lot of people we understand that it has taken another dimension. Now, the youth are in the center of this. You have your HK, that's the hustler's kingdom, which some persons even see as another form of school. As a matter of fact, we understand that some parents now would rather prefer their children or their child that instead of maybe you have managed through a tertiary institution, no job, hey, you just put yourself in one HK. And for them, that is another form of, education, so to say. So we really cannot say that lack of education is probably responsible for crime in our society. Now, what would you say? I mean, people going to school, at the end of the day, they take to crime and all that. What is going on?
Well, the problem is very simple. Unemployment. If there's a job, you won't see people having the option of going into crime. When, let's look at the Western world, for example. As soon as you finish your tertiary institution, there's readily available job for you. Here in Nigeria, let's use Nigeria as a case. Here in Nigeria, you finish, after having gone through the 4 years of the university, 4 or 5 years, as the case may be, depends on your course area, and you graduate out of school, and then you don't find job. So it's easy to woo such persons to crime. So government need to do so much when it comes to providing job. If you can't provide job, skill. Train young people on skill for them to have skill. Okay, the president in Renewed Hope agenda recently has said 1 youth, 2 skill. He's bringing up the initiative to the Federal Ministry of Youth. And it's also a clarion call for other state government to also, to look at that area to see how they can build the capacity of young people. If you can't get job, if you can't get employed, you should at least have a skill where you can, put it to good use and earn a living. So it's going to help very much in curbing this crime generally.
Okay. Now, some people say that the present governor of Edo State, Senator Modo Kwebolo, is after criminality. I mean, we've seen how he's going against cultists and how also he has given a marching order to demolish buildings that are involved in court-related issues that has to do with kidnapping and all that. Now, some also say that perhaps the governor is not fighting it the way he ought to. You just mentioned unemployment as a root cause. Now, is your organization, the National Youth Council, the Edo State chapter, are you engaging the governor on this in this way that, hey, I mean, we don't have jobs, create jobs for us?
Yes, we are doing that. We were with him on the 12th of May during the rally, and part of our community, our position paper, as stated earlier, it's also we have creating more jobs, unemployment, and also building the capacity of young people through skill acquisitions and other initiatives in the paper. So we hope that when fully implemented, and then we will see a change in dimension when it comes to cultism and criminality generally, especially in Edo State.
This capacity you tend to build now, are they attractive enough? Because we're talking about youths that they want to make it at all costs. I mean, imagine somebody that has driven and an SGK or whatever you call it now, then you tell the person that, hey, come and settle for one form of capacity building program and all that. You think he will listen to you. So my question is, are they attractive enough?
Yes. Like I said, when in a situation like this, you have to do so much. As youth leaders and as young people, it is our primary responsibility to sensitize ourselves. We youth talk to youth and we understand. Part of the position paper is you have to look at the root cause of crime, not just trying to attack it from the very top. From the primary school, secondary school, you begin to conscientize these young people, begin to sensitize them, begin to put them on the right track, and then they grow accordingly. Right? We are where we are today as a result of the moral decadence in the society. And the governor has said that he has zero tolerance for crime, zero tolerance for kidnapping and cultism. And we have reiterated our support for him, because for us, Edo is our own. We have to do everything within our power to support the government when it comes to initiative and people-driven politics that is centered around young people. So that is what we're doing.
Okay, now the tide of kidnapping seems to be taking a new dimension in the country and perhaps in Nigeria. Now, we understand that it is now done in stages. As a matter of fact, you can have up to about 4 to 5 groups, on one particular kidnap project. That's what they call it now. Now, you have the ones that kidnap, they sell to another group. Those ones sell to another group, those ones sell to another group. And in the middle of all this now, the youths are fingered. That to the extent that the alleged Fulani people, some Fulani people that are in the bush now, that they don't come to the city, that some Edo youths are involved in all this. Are you aware?
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing that. We used to hear, Fulani herdsmen, the one in...
Some Fulani herdsmen.
Some Fulani herdsmen are the one involved in kidnapping. And when they say Edo youth, I don't really
some Edo youths. Yeah.
Some Edo youth. Well, you in a crime syndicate, syndicate, you must have people who collaborate with them. Especially when you see people come to your forest and kidnap people, they must have an insider within the community. It's obvious, because they wouldn't know the terrain, they wouldn't know where and where to go to without having an insider. So it should not just be attributed to youth. We even have, allegedly, we also heard that there are members of the community who are also not youth being involved in this kidnapping business. So it should not just be youth. Youth should not just be fingered, because we are more in population, and the youth is being targeted at when it comes to vices and what have you. So it should not just be youth. It is a general, it should be a general thing.
Now, your message, little wonder if what you preach in Benin, if it transcends down to the grassroots, because the attention seems to be in the metropole, where you have a lot of persons here. Now, with what you are doing in Benin City, you're trying to conscientize the average youth that, hey, criminality is not good. Are you taking the story back to the grassroots? Because we have a lot of these guys, that ordinarily are taken into criminality. They are not, they don't have the opportunity to hear the message in the city that you are preaching. So are you taking it to them to where they are?
Yes, we've designed the program, we've designed the template on going across the 3 senatorial districts. Okay. The youth council don't just exist in the state alone. We have local government structures. We also have the ward structures now in the youth council. We have executive across the 192 ward in Edo. So we are working tirelessly to see how we can come. In the next few weeks, you will see us on air, you see us on the streets.
That was what you told me last time you came here. You told me that the last time you came here, and you assured. Yes. I remember, Mr. Agunede, you assured me that, look, in another few months that you won't find a single youth. I can remember what you said, that you won't find a single youth fingered in a criminality. But that was before the election. Yeah. But what we're still saying is that the youth seems to be so much prevalent in this.
Well, to curb social vices or cultism and kidnapping is not something you do. It's not a miracle. It takes time, it takes process. Okay, it's continuous engagement, continuous advocacy, continuous sensitization, and that's what we are doing.
Okay.
Right, and with the right support from government and well-meaning Nigerians, we're going to achieve that.
You talked about programs that you are doing, programs that you are looking at to pull the Nigerian youth out of criminality. Now, we understand that some factors are there, you know. What are these factors? Militating against these programs is one thing to plan. It is another to realize your plans out. What are the factors?
Well, one of the factors affecting us implementing our program is funding. When you come up with programs, design the program to achieve a particular aim, and you don't get funding, how do you implement? We don't have allocation for that. The only thing we do is to source for funds to do this advocacy, and that's what we are doing.
When you say source of fund now, source of fund from the government also?
Yes, right to government.
Okay.
Right to government for support, right to well-meaning Nigerians for support, corporate agencies for support. And then when we get fund to drive this process, and then that's what we can implement. Outside that, there's nothing we can do.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about courtism now, because courtism somehow, sometimes, is also related to all these things we're talking about now. Now, the issue with courtism in Edo State and perhaps in the country has taken a dimension that it remains too big for the government to handle. In the sense that you hear stories that, it is because it's not in my political party and all that. Now, what do you make from all this?
Well, I wouldn't think the fight against courtism is targeted towards particular individuals, some set of persons. The governor has said categorically he has zero tolerance for courtism, and we have come out to say we support him. Right, devoid of political affiliations or whatsoever, whoever you are. If you are involved, if you are found culpable in crime or courtism, then you should face the law. It is clear. The Edo State anti-courtism law is clear. And I was even with the CP yesterday, and I told him that we spoke about the Edo State anti-courtism law. And there's need for sensitization, there's need for people to know what the law is all about and what the law states. If you are found culpable, then you face the reading.
All right, so what about the issue that has to do with terrorism now? Because we are also seeing part of that in Edo State, whereby a crime related to herders, some herders, how farmers are not allowed to go into the bush and all that. Now, how some youths are also trying to participate in all of this. In other words, trying to organize their own contributions in aiding and abetting some of these, criminalities in our grassroots villages and towns and all that. Are you aware of this?
Well, you said earlier in the first segment, you said youths are being fingered in the middle of all this. I see stand on that young people are just being alleged. When it comes to criminality, they just finger young people. There are also other people who are involved in this act, right? So what we will do is to just continue to stand against any form of criminality, and also advocate for peace and mediating between farmers and herders clash. Right? We have the past administration incorporated the members of the youth council across the 10 local government into peace and conflict committee across the local government, which these young people give suggestions to the local government chapters, local government chairmen on how to mediate between young people and trying to advocate between young people and whatsoever that is being alleged, involvement of young people into crime.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about briefly before we just draw the curtain now, because somehow the male youth seems to be the center for all that now. We've also seen whereby the female youth is also, accused. Take, for example, the confidence crime we talked about a while ago, the Yahoo syndrome. Some Nigerian girls are also alleged to be doing this now. So do you also conscientize the female youth too that, look, hey, stop this thing is wrong?
Yes, the male and female youths are all under the National Youth Council. And then when we do this advocacy, we reach out to both genders.
Okay. All right. All right, so we'll let you go because you have things to do this morning. So I want to say a very big thank you for coming on our program this morning. We hope when we invite you again, you come on the show so we can talk more on how we can really reposition Nigeria as a nation so that the issue of criminality can really be brought to a minimum situation. Because the Nigerian youths are all fingered in all for this. You hear criminality, you hear terrorism, youth, you hear of kidnapping youth, and of course you hear of stealing, thefts and all that, the Nigerian youth and all that. So Mr. Moses, thank you so much once again.